Hi everyone, today I wanted to show you a really cool watercolouring technique that I've used for a background on some of my cards recently. I've been creating with the new Reverse Words stamp set, which was released by Stampin' Up! Only a couple of weeks ago. About a month ago. They released a new selection of celebration items that are available only until March 31st, along with the other celebration items that were launched initially. And one of them was this stamp set. It has lots and lots of possibilities. I love it that you can stamp it really simply. So you can use the ombre ink pad that works beautifully with those. You can stamp it just in one single colour. But there's also lots of techniques that you can do with it. So you can really step it up and have a lot of fun with it. So there's just some of the samples that are in the catalogue, along with all of the other new items. You can see that catalogue in my store, and there's a link on my blog as well. So the card that I wanted to show you, or the technique that I wanted to show you, is this watercolour background using the new Reverse Words. There's two different stamps in the set, and today I'm going to use the Cheers word. So this would be great to use for birthdays, congratulations, wedding, baby, any occasion that requires a greeting that is a congratulations greeting. I'm starting off with a piece of very vanilla cardstock, and I'm going to just wipe over with my embossing buddy because I'm going to be embossing in silver. And I want to make sure that none of the little powder flakes get caught on the edges. I want a nice crisp image when I'm stamping. And I'll just grab my Versamark. Versamark is the ink that you need to use whenever you're embossing. It stays wet, it's nice and sticky, and it's great to use with this stamp set, which has the more bold images. So you want some good coverage on your stamp. You want to be able to get all of the outline that's around the word so that you can see the word nice and clearly. So I'm just using my ink pad like this, like a sponge, over the top of my stamp to get it nice and inked up. And then I'm going to stamp it right in the middle of my cardstock. Hold it down for a couple of seconds. Okay, so that's left an impression of the Versamark ink, which I am then going to cover with the powder. It's best not to wait too long between those two steps, so if you can get the powder on as quickly as possible, that always gives you a better result too. I'm just going to funnel that straight back in. Not sure what you use when you're embossing, but you can use a piece of paper folded in the middle. I also just do it this way sometimes when my piece of paper is large enough, and I can just get a nice little fold there and pour it straight back in the pot. Okay, so I'm going to heat that up and over and do the other side. Okay, so that all looks like it's been melted. You'll notice that the paper at the cardstock actually curled up and then curled back down again when I did the two sides. So you can actually use the heat gun to flatten it again. That gives a lovely sheen to the stamp image, doesn't it? What we're going to do now is get some ink on there just to make it a little bit more interesting. And the colours that I'm working with today are these three: Calypso Coral, Tangerine Tango, and Wisteria Wonder. So what I've done is I've given my ink pads a little squeeze so that the ink from the pad is actually sitting in the lid of the pad itself, and that just means that I can use that as a little palette or paint palette to pick up the ink from. And I've got an aqua pen here which is filled with water, and I'm just going to squeeze that into the lid there just to get a little bit of water, and it's a matter of just kind of splodging that colour down. This is the Calypso Coral, and sort of letting it randomly go over the cardstock. Okay, I'm going to get rid of that, and I'm going to use some of the Tangerine Tango, and then you can overlap a little bit if you want to, and it's great if you can get some light and shade to it. You'll notice that the embossing is resisting the ink there, so you can leave some of those bits blank. You can also come in with another colour. So here we go, I'm going to just grab some Wisteria Wonder. I've chosen these colours because they coordinate with the cardstock and embellishments that I'm using. For the background of the card, and yeah, on the card, on the finished card, which I'll bring in again and show you. So I'm just kind of mixing that around, and I might grab a little bit of more of the tangerine just up in this corner here. If your paper starts to wrinkle up, that's okay. What you can do is just use your heat gun again on the back to dry it, to help dry it, as well as to make it flatten again. I'm just going to use a tissue to blot the rest of that ink off the top. Now have a little look at your word there. If it needs some more definition, just bring in some of the brighter colours. So I'm just going to bring in, yeah, just a little bit of that tangerine, and you can see how that makes the word stand out against the silver a little bit better. And you can blot it with the tissue again, preferably an unused tissue. I have a craft tissue, and I have other tissues. Okay, so here we go. That's looking pretty good. I'm going to flip it over and just give it a squirt with the heat gun. And as I said, that's going to flatten it, but also it's going to help dry some of that water. And flip it back over again. On the other side. And that will help flatten it out. It's looking pretty good. Okay, so what I might do is just squeeze the tangerine a little bit. This is our darkest orange colour that we're working with. On my original card, I'll bring that back in again just so you can see. I don't know if you can see, there's some spatters down the corner there, and just a couple up there as well. Let me show you how I did that, and you can do it as well. So once everything's pretty dry, you just wet your brush again on your aqua pen, and I'm just going to flick. Get a little bit more water on there. There we go. Needs to be quite wet to do this. So you can actually flick some water and ink over the top again, just to make it a little bit darker. And even put some larger splodges on there if you'd like to as well. So when they dry, they'll actually end up with, yeah, some more interesting overspray, I guess, and it provides a nice little bit of texture on your watercolouring for your card. So yeah, I would either lay that aside or give it another squirt with the heat gun, and yeah, you can just see those little drops of ink kind of starting to spread out. Looks really, really cool. You'd also want to give that another blot at some stage. Yeah, there we go. So that's ready to use on another card. There you go. So that's how I did my background. Let me bring in another card in some different colours to show you just what it looks like in some yellow and Bermuda Bay and Island Indigo. So I've used Yo-Yo Yellow. Daffodil Delight. You can tell I've been a demonstrator for a long time. It's a very old colour. Daffodil Delight, Bermuda Bay and Island Indigo for the darker ink and the spatter over the top. The embellishments I've used are actually from the cupcakes and carousels. So you'll recognise that beautiful ombre ribbon and that baker's twine with the gold and silver running through it, and some of our celebration ribbon, which is disappearing at the end of this month. So make sure you get your 2 spools of that. You actually get 2 spools in the pack, and it's free with a qualifying order when you spend $90. Let me show you where the cupcakes and carousels embellishments kit is on page 9 of the Occasions catalogue. You can see all these products in my store and go and browse and have a look at the other products in the Occasions catalogue, as well as the new celebration products that are available only until the end of this month. Thanks for watching today. I'll see you next time. Bye.